The clone army was specifically made from the DNA of Mandalorian bounty hunter Jango Fett to create one of the most formidable forces the galaxy had ever seen. However, the Star Wars universe features countless different species, all well-versed in combat and with significant different biological advantages. So, what would have happened if the clone army was more varied, using different species from all different worlds? Now, for this theory, we're going to be saying the kaminoans decide that although the Jango Fett clones are formidable alone, they should branch out and begin cloning numerous other species to be part of their new army. For example, Wookiees are incredibly strong, Trandoshans are agile and great hunters, and Boffins make brilliant spies. The fact is that there's numerous different species that would be perfect for specific roles, and arguably far more capable than standard Mandalorian clones. Now, of course, in reality, this would never happen. Cloning was not cheap or easy. It would become far more complex when you start playing around with completely different species' DNA. This is likely why the kaminoans chose humanoids, because they were very adaptable for a large variety of roles. Not only this, but we must consider the additional cost of armaments and training that would be involved with all these different species. It would be astronomical. However, for the fun of this theory, we're going to say that they do it anyway, creating a clone army built up of a huge spectrum of different alien species. Now, what does this mean? Well, assuming the Republic can actually pay for this, it's going to be very effective, in a way. The diversification in the army would mean different units with different roles were designed to be perfect for said roles. For example, the front lines of the army would probably be made up of strong and hardy species such as Wookiees, Gamorreans, and Nikto. These would probably be far more capable than the standard clones, with the ability to naturally take more damage and get in up close to the enemy's infantry. They'd already evolved to be bigger and stronger, so you may as well make the most use of that. Meanwhile, on worlds with diverse environments, you would no longer have a problem. On a world that was largely oceans and lakes, use Mon Cala or Quarren or even Gungan clones. Essentially, whatever the world was, you have clone units designed and evolved to specifically survive in it. A final pro that I would like to point out is that by using alien clones, it would probably largely reduce the anti-alien sentiment that had gripped the galaxy. By having clones of aliens doing the fighting, not just humanoid Fett clones, it would definitely lower animosity to many alien species. Now, much of this animosity was brought on because the CIS leadership was mostly made up of aliens, and this caused a rift between the humanoids and these different species. Now, despite having these pretty good benefits, I believe the negatives greatly outnumber them. Not only do you need far exceeding costs to create, train, and equip these soldiers, but realistically, I think that it would ultimately create a divide, especially when the war was over. Now, this wasn't something that we really saw much in canon. However, the question is, to what group do clones belong to? For example, were the Jango Fett clones Mandalorian, or were they Kaminoan? I'm sure many Mandalorians didn't like the idea that their genetics had been cloned by some faraway alien scientists, and this would be no different. It would just be on a far larger scale with a lot more species. I believe many cultures would firstly not be happy about the use of their species being used as clones and would refuse to see them as the same species. Meanwhile, the clones themselves would likely struggle to find whereabouts they belong in society, especially after the war when they'd been relieved of duty. I don't think many of the species that they came from would welcome a bunch of alien-made foreign clones into their society. They would realistically be shunned, not trusted, and this is going to create problems. The clone citizens would be treated as second-class citizens. Their DNA wouldn't be seen by many as true to that species, because it was engineered somewhere else. And they don't know what the kaminoans did to it, and neither would their offspring or future relatives. And on some more brutal worlds, I'm pretty sure that there would be attempts to move these people all together. Ultimately, I believe the clones would be forced to stick together as they would probably be highly persecuted by many different species from which they had originally hailed. And this could definitely spark conflict. I mean, you could definitely imagine wars between the original species and their cloned doppelgangers. However, this does beckon the question, did any Mandalorians take great offense to the Republic's use of Mandalorians? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Also, do you think it would be better or worse if the clone army used a widened variety for their soldiers? Thanks for watching. Please remember to like, share and sub, as it's really appreciated and it helps the channel grow. Also, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at @TheLoreGuy and tick the bell for regular updates. Thanks again for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.